Texas Storm Chasers. It is 1 a.m. on this Wednesday morning, the 13th of October 2021. We're here because we have a tornado warning now for the eastern Texas Panhandle. This is going to include Interstate 40 between McLean on the west and the Oklahoma state line, or Texola, on the east. Shamrock and Twitty are in this tornado warning. So let's go ahead and make sure our city labels are all turned on, and super duper happy they are. So here's what we're dealing with right now. We have a severe thunderstorm capable of producing not only a tornado, but straight line winds of 70 to 75 miles per hour. We'll switch over from the how hard it's raining mode to the which way the wind's blowing mode, and you'll be able to definitely see we've got some wind in this system. All right, in fact, there you go right now. You can see the radar is indicating plenty of pixels exceeding 70 miles per hour. In addition, the storm is capable of producing a spin-up tornado within the larger area of destructive straight-line winds. So we want folks in Shamrock and we want folks in Twitty to take their tornado safety precautions. That'll be, well, first off, if you got one, a cellar or a basement, a storm shelter, that's your best shelter. But if not, no worries. Lowest floor, center room, away from windows, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. We don't want folks being in vehicles. We don't want folks being in commercial vehicles, especially being hit broadside by these strong straight line winds, and we don't want folks in trailers. Even if there's not a tornado, this storm is producing straight line winds of 70 to 80 miles per hour, and it could produce a tornado at any time. This isn't your typical supercellular storm structure, but it is all out by itself. Notice we're not dealing with a squall line here. We're dealing with a semi-discrete supercellular thunderstorm. See this little kink right here? That's going to be your hook echo or your rear flank downdraft coming down on the backside of the thunderstorm. Again, even if we don't have a tornado, we have very strong straight line winds. As we zoom on in and use the storm relative velocity to show which way the wind is blowing while taking into account storm motion and direction, you can see we definitely do have a circulation here very near Interstate 40. And this is going to be, I'll tell you exactly how far west of Shamrock. From 83 and 40, this is about 9 miles now west of Shamrock, and this storm is moving east-northeast at 65 miles per hour. This thing's traveling highway speeds, and it does not have to stop at the stop signs there at Interstate 40 and Highway 83 when you're getting off to go to the Taco Bell or head south down on 83. So those of you in Shamrock, those of you in Twitty, you need to be in your tornado safe places immediately. Again, best case is a cellar or a storm shelter or basement. Most folks don't have those, and that's perfectly fine. In this case, you'll just go to the lowest floor, center room, away from windows, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. We don't want folks going out and looking to the west as the storm hits, because we're expecting straight line winds exceeding 70 miles per hour and the potential for wind-driven hail, which can break west-facing windows especially. This tornado warning does not include the city of Wheeler. Wheeler is in a severe thunderstorm warning for strong winds, but the tornadic portion of this thunderstorm is expected to remain south of the city of Wheeler. Wheeler itself may get in on the hail on the northern side of this storm as it comes on into town over the next 15 minutes. As it races northeast, it's 65 miles an hour. So again, we don't want anyone on Highway 83 between the city of Shamrock and Wheeler. We don't want folks on 152 between Wheeler and the state line, and folks on Interstate 40. Give it about another 10 minutes for the storm to get north of Interstate 40, then you'll be good to go. But folks in Shamrock, the storm's either going to come into town or pass just north of town with a strong rear flank downdraft, resulting in strong winds in town. The hail portion of this thunderstorm probably is going to stay north of Shamrock, go very near, just south of Wheeler, and the tornadic portion of this thunderstorm could cross over Highway 83, maybe a bit north of Shamrock, but Shamrock is still in the tornado warning polygon and need to take their tornado safety precautions. So let's put on the storm cell tracking mode. If it'll load, it probably won't, because that would require technology not to hate me. But actually it did, and I mean, yeah, it's a little behind. These storms are booking it at 65 to 70 miles per hour, and this thing's too slow. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to draw our own little storm track, because I'm super duper and can do that. So we're going to go out ahead of the storm, because I don't really want this thing to get ahead of folks. And this thing's moving so quickly. Yeah, moving about 65 miles per hour. This is roughly where we're expecting. Shamrock, 108. We're expecting Cheyenne. That's up in Oklahoma. All these towns minus Shamrock are in Oklahoma. But for those of you in western Oklahoma, Cheyenne, 143. Hammond, 157. City of Shamrock here within the next 3 to 5 minutes. Same thing goes for Twitty, which didn't show up on that list, but is right about where that Highway 83 symbol is between Wheeler and Shamrock. So those of you in the city of Shamrock, you need to be in shelter as strong winds come into town, a possible tornado passing near or northwest of town. Those of you in Twitty, this possible tornado is actually coming right towards you. Twitty is located about halfway between Shamrock and Wheeler on Highway 83. The storm's moving northeast at 65 miles per hour. It's a booking and cooking. It does not have to stop at the stop signs in Wheeler or Shamrock, and it can just go flying into western Oklahoma. But for now, we have to deal with it, at least for another 15 minutes, until it is into western Oklahoma. So this circulation is still likely producing strong winds on Interstate 40. At this point, there's really nothing anyone on Interstate 40 can do, and I really doubt anyone's watching me on Interstate 40 at 1 in the morning. But those of you who might be traveling commercial vehicle or otherwise, just a heads up, you're going to have very strong west-southwest winds from this thunderstorm on Interstate 40 coming into Shamrock now. Once you get west of this storm, you're going to have strong west-northwest winds and a very quick drop in temperatures as a cool front comes on blasting through. Again, switching back over to the how hard the wind's blowing mode, even if there's not a tornado, we're expecting straight line winds or rear flank downdraft winds exceeding 70 miles per hour with this thunderstorm. We have winds screaming aloft, literally about 150 miles an hour at about 18,000 feet above the surface, down at about 4,000 to 5,000 feet above the surface. If that, we have winds gusting to near 80 miles an hour. It does not take a very strong thunderstorm to translate those strong winds down to the surface, especially given the kinematics or the wind shear environment we have tonight. So this supercell thunderstorm continues moving northeast at 65 miles per hour. Once it gets east of Highway 83, we're not going to have too many folks in the direct line of path. It's a rural area, but as you can see by all these black squiggly lines, we do have roads, and where you have roads, you have people, or at least oil rigs and oil rig workers. So we want folks out in the area between Shamrock and Wheeler east, all the way to the Oklahoma state line, to take their tornado safety precautions, get away from west-facing windows, center room, lowest floor, away from windows. This possible tornado, in addition to very strong straight-line winds, will be crossing over Highway 83 any minute now as the storm races east-northeast at 65 miles per hour. Strongest winds hopefully will stay just north of the city of Shamrock as the storm is moving northeast. So Shamrock, you will be clear within 10 minutes, but not just yet. McLean, you are clear. This storm's already miles to your east and racing away at 65 miles an hour. You're clear for the rest of the night. Those of you in Wheeler, you're getting heavy rain now, maybe some small hail. Tornadic circulation is likely going to go well south of Wheeler, but you could still get hail, strong winds, heavy rain over the next 10 minutes as the storm moves northeast at 65 miles per hour. This storm continues to move northeast at 65 miles an hour towards Twitty, which is where this middle Highway 83 marker is right here. If you can see my mouse, halfway between Shamrock and Wheeler. Those of you near Twitty, those of you who might own property around that area, you're getting very strong winds right now. Possible tornado in addition to straight line winds of 70 plus miles per hour. So we want folks to take their safety precautions. Again, lowest floor, away from windows, put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. We're going to get a tornado warning update here from the National Weather Service. You'll see that flashing on the radar. We're going to let that come in and update. You'll see the polygon shrink. McLean, you're clear. Wheeler, you're not in this tornado warning. You never were. City of Shamrock, I think you're going to be safe here within 5 minutes as the storm races northeast. And there's the latest update. Again, McLean's clear. The only county in the tornado warning officially now is going to be... Oh, let's see. Wheeler County. Convenient, right? Moving northeast at 65 miles an hour. Tornado warning continues for Shamrock. Circulation's northeast of Leela now. Moving northeast at 65 towards Twitty. We'll be over Twitty here very, very shortly. Here's the latest velocity scan. Those pinks indicate winds well over 60 miles an hour. We're seeing winds indicated of 60, 70, even 80 miles an hour. Even a little pixel there over 100 miles an hour, although I would hope that is anomalous. Even if we don't have a brief tornado in progress, we definitely have extremely strong straight line winds, which will likely bring down power lines, power poles, knock down fences, just cause a whole lot of mayhem, which is problematic given there is a lot of cattle and livestock in that area. Because I intercepted a tornado on that highway near Twitty about... Oh, was that 3 or 4 years ago now? It was a while ago. Anyway, I know there's a lot of livestock out there, and the same thing goes for oil rigs, oil workers, all the way across eastern Wheeler County into far western Oklahoma, West Sayre, southwest Cheyenne. So, folks need to be in your safe places. Shamrock, the strongest winds are likely rolling into town right now. And with this storm moving northeast at 65 miles an hour, you'll be clear by 1:15 in Shamrock. Wheeler, you're getting heavy rain. You're probably getting some hail right now as we zoom on into Wheeler. You got a little purple hail blob right over you. Probably got some wind, but strong winds continue. Rotation isn't overly strong, but the straight line wind threat itself is serious enough to warrant you getting away from west windows, lowest floor, center room. You know, you just don't want to get hit by wind-driven hail or other small debris that could break your west-facing windows. So, with that being said, this storm's definitely bowing out in the sense where this definitely getting probably at least 70, if not 80 mile-an-hour winds on the Highway 83 right now between Wheeler and Shamrock near Twitty. You can see radars showing winds 60, 70 miles an hour rolling on into Wheeler and Twitty. And Wheeler's been in a severe thunderstorm warning this whole time, so again, very strong straight line winds in the bow shape on the how hard it's raining mode. You see that little bow shape to the east, that's just a rear inflow jet kicking in even stronger winds with this thunderstorm and kind of pushing the rain hard off to the east, and that's how you get a bow shape in addition to very strong straight line winds, possibly exceeding hurricane force. So this storm's going to move into western Oklahoma here very shortly at 65 to 70 miles an hour. Farther southwest, you can see sub-severe storms. These storms have strong winds up to 55 miles an hour, heavy rain, small hail. They're also moving east-northeast at 60 to 65 miles an hour, but they are not severe. We'll keep an eye out just in case they do, but so far we have been rather fortunate tonight in that we have not had any confirmed tornadoes in the state of Texas, Kansas, southern Kansas, southwest Kansas, around Dodge City. They've had significant tornadoes earlier this evening. We had strong tornadoes in southwest and west central Oklahoma several hours ago with discrete supercells, but we are just dealing with the cold front with these thunderstorms. Real quick, I want to take a look down in the Edwards Plateau. We have thunderstorms developing in northern Mexico that are going to move across the international border over the next hour or two. We're expecting increasing thunderstorm coverage in the Edwards Plateau, Del Rio to Eagle Pass, northeast into the hill country. Later this morning, the potential for heavy rainfall producing flash flooding. We could see also a few stronger storms with maybe some pocket change size hail, strong winds, a very low tornado threat that's just barely non-zero, but you still mention it because if you don't, there will be a brief tornado and then people will get mad. Alright, with that being said, then this thunderstorm pushing east of Highway 83, both looking less spinny, although very, very strong winds continue, and moving into western Oklahoma within the next 5 minutes. We're going to go ahead and let it go. But again, remember, this storm still has a tornado warning. Could be a brief tornado in progress very near Twitty, along with very strong straight line winds in Wheeler all the way down to Shamrock. But the good news is, with the storm moving northeast at 65 miles an hour, it will be out of the cities of Wheeler and Shamrock within the next 5 to 10 minutes. Moving towards Cheyenne, Oklahoma, Raiden, over to Strong City, all the areas over in Roger Mills County, Oklahoma. With that being said, I'm David Rammer at the Texas Storm Chasers. You can always keep an eye on the sky with our interactive weather radar on our website, texasstormchasers.com/radar, or by using our super duper awesome free mobile app. Radar's in there too, along with all our blog articles, and you can get notified when we go live, post new forecasts, etc. So we'll keep an eye on things. Otherwise, talk to you all later. Have a great rest of your night, and if you are up having to watch me at 1 a.m., I'm sorry.